What is up, everybody? I am Mega Short Fuse, and today I had an interesting thing happen to me. I was, and actually, I stumbled onto a social experiment that I was basically orchestrating. So I was walking to the bus stop, catch the bus to go to school. I do that every day. And I arrived there, and I just missed the bus. So that means there's about 5 to 10 minutes till the next bus gets there, and I immediately notice that there is a poster on the ground, like a regular flyer, slap some glue on it, stick it to the wall kind of thing. So I just start looking at it and like, why isn't anyone throwing it away? The trash can's right there. And I start thinking, and then just sort of the perfect circumstances became evident to me, and I'm like, I can make a social experiment out of this. So what I did was I waited to see that if anyone would pick up this simple piece of trash and just throw it away. And eventually the next bus got there and I threw it away myself. And I just started wondering. My mind started to wander, and anyone can interpret this in their own way. Here's what I think transpired there. At first glance, this is a very, how should I say this, typical representation of social behavior, meaning, followers and people who create followers, leaders, They were waiting for someone to pick the piece of trash and just throw it away. They were expecting something like that to happen. There was just sort of this barrier of it's not my problem around it, and that kind of, at least at first glance, prevented them from taking action. But then I just started to wander, and here's what I came up with. This is a very typical example of just commuting social behavior, I guess you can call it. The behavior of people who are commuting. And it's a very specific case, if you think about it, because, well, it kind of addresses a certain aspect of our lives. Everybody commutes. Everybody needs to go somewhere at a certain time, whether it be by car or by bus or whatever. And the destination is, most of the time, set. It's, for example, school, work, something along those lines. And it becomes monotonous after a certain amount of time. It becomes an automated process, if you will. You can mix it up. For example, I slap in some headphones, listen to some podcasts, whatever tickles your fancy, listen to music, whatever. But it is a very automated process. We do it without even thinking. Sometimes we get there and we're like, oh, cool, I've arrived. I didn't really know I did that. And that was sort of introducing a new element, as small as it is, in the face of that little poster on the ground. That shifted things up, because when we switch into commuting mode, we turn off. Most of us do. I've done it. Even though I listen to podcasts, my attention just tends to wander, and I just sort of walk without paying attention and think to myself. And that's what happens. Everybody's just in their own little bubble, and this thing sort of appears. And it's not like they can't pick it up. Anyone can pick something this light from the ground and just, again, throw it away. But the introduction of this new element into their environment, because they were at such a basic level of existing at that point, meaning that they were basically robots going to work or whatever, it just sort of brought out stereotypical behavioral patterns that are in accordance to their social standing. For example, the old people did a very stereotypical old person thing, which it was just backed away, I guess you could say, a few feet. They were sitting a few feet away from it, looking at it and mumbling how no one's throwing it away. There were a middle-aged couple who just sort of decided to ignore the process. And that really just shows how used we are to our lives. And that little thing, if we're not willing to do that one little thing, this can transpire into, if a huge event happens, we run around like chickens with their heads cut off. It's a really interesting thing to behold, really, because it just sort of scales things, if you will. Even if you can't do the smallest thing, we can't hope to achieve something bigger if we decide to ignore this little thing altogether. And because they were in automated mode, it was just sort of an atmosphere of relief once I threw it away. And I really wanted to know what would happen if I threw it away. I couldn't just leave it there, you know, for obvious and not so obvious purposes, respectively. I threw it away to observe their reactions, and it was basically what I thought was gonna happen, like hushed whispers of, yeah, good job, kid, way to go, good, that sort of thing, you know. But as simple as that thing was, there was an air of relief about it, everything returning back to normal. You know, it was weird to behold. Very, very strange in itself, you know. So, yeah, I guess that's my social experiment. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I may have forgotten to say something, or I may have interpreted it not quite as well as I would like to. Well, I did, but tell me if I missed something. Tell me what you think, and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I shall see you guys tomorrow.